So you had an amazing year. I mean, these two films broke out all over the world. They've just been so lauded. You had any idea why these two films suddenly got so much attention?
It's too early for me to say, but no, there must be a reason, but well, I can have the beginning of an explanation, but I don't know, that it's two movies, but two women which are shown not the way maybe people want women to be shown, but the way women are, not the way they should be, but the way they are. So that might be
so this is
appealing
Things to Come and Elle we're talking about here, yeah. Well, each of these women are basically refusing, even though these things are happening to them that would ordinarily throw them into victimhood, they're refusing to let that happen.
Yes, if it was to draw a line between the two films, well, there are something in common in the two films, and that is primarily the fact that none of them, for various reasons, I mean, not the same thing happened to them, but in certain situations, they don't want to be victims. And they very naturally, they behave in such a way that they are not victims. They do it otherwise. But they do it otherwise, and not only, they don't go necessarily to the other extreme. They do it, I don't know how to say it, but it's not that all of a sudden they become the contrary of a victim. It's more subtle and complex than this.
Well, the woman, Nathalie, in Things to Come, I mean, she's dealing with the end of her marriage, the death of her mother, the birth of her first grandchild, the decline of her career, and so she's really pushing forward anyway. She's not letting it get her completely down.
No, but it's more, I mean, also she's a philosophy teacher, and that's very important in the story because she has a certain attitude towards what happens to her, and she's maybe ready to, that helps her, you know, she says it, you know, at some point, it's also a portrait of a certain category of people, which is nice to show also on screen, you know, sometimes, you know, I mean, she says, I have an intellectual life, I'm a thinking person, and it certainly helped me to appreciate the world and to, what else she said at some point, I forgot, but she said, and that's enough at the moment when she says it to fulfill myself at that moment. I feel fulfilled just because I'm reading my books and having a really full intellectual life. So that's me, Hansela, who render this kind of justice also to this kind of people. But not only for that, she of course, that's a source of her strength towards what happens to her. But that there is also something which happens to her without her, even her predicting it, and that's the realization of. At some point she says also, my mother has died, my husband left me, my children left home, I've never been so free. She doesn't say, I've never been so happy. She says, I've never been so free. And with a certain sense of humor, because there is a lot of humor in the film, Mia Hanseloff says nothing less that this woman, all of a sudden, she realizes that it's nice that no one is dependent on her anymore. And instead, so if you see things through this prisma, everything is nice, you know. It's not that everybody is missing. No, on the contrary, everybody has left. But the counterpoint to that is freedom. It's not loneliness; it's freedom. So it's just you make a little step side, and instead of seeing things black, all of a sudden you see them white. It's nice.